Chapter 4. The water was dark, and it went forever down. The girl left her mother in the rented cottage with all the sails drawn and went down to the packed white sand of beach. She passed the jetty with its whirling braid of gulls and followed the line of bay. She was tall for her age, but years of training in pool had taken lankiness from her. Her hair was cropped close. In the summer sun her big nose had gone scabby. She just wished her mother would put the bottles away, raise the blinds, and come outside into the world again. But the girl knew she had a better chance of making the Olympics than changing her mother. 8 years ago, when girl was 6 years old and her father had been gone a year, her mother had a terrible accident. Depressed and drunk, she passed out while smoking in bed and woke in flames. Her nylon nightie crackled and hissed. She beat herself out on the floor and threw a jug of water over the bed, but she didn't call out to the girl across the hall. She sat shaking in the dark with a bottle of sherry until dawn when she phoned an ambulance. Because she waited, her scars were hideous. Years later she told the girl she hadn't wanted to alarm her by shrieking and waking her in the middle of the night, looking the way she did, like a charred side of beef. From that moment the girl was convinced that her mother was either stupid or sick. Down the front of her bikini the girl saw her tiny breast and was grateful that her own body was unblemished. Even these days the sight of her mother caused her teeth to clench. She kicked up a string of kelp and watched it settle back on the sand. This holiday was so boring. There was no one her age. Already she had run out of the books. It was no different to home. Following the curve of the bay, she saw the small island offshore, low, rocky, spotted with vegetation, and she wondered how far out it was. She knew her mother was sick and bitter and afraid. She just wished she could pull herself out of it, get a job, stay out of mental hospitals, suffer some special surgery, find a man. Got to be normal. All those stupid, recurring statements ran through her head. All a person needs is a bit of land, her mother would say. That's what makes the difference. Men hate us, they hate our bodies. God has been cruel to me. Your father never loved me. This came up during TV programs at mills. The girl heard them shouted in the night, heard them screech from their sixth floor window as she slunk home from training, over and over. A hot breeze blew off the land from where the colossal white backs of dunes hummed at the edge of town, threatening the place with their shifting weight. She has gone send me crazy, she thought. Every night after school the girl trained in a swimming squad. It was 3 hours of blind, busting effort away from home, and though she didn't love it the way the others did, she knew she couldn't be without it. The girl stopped walking. It was stupid to walk, she knew. Walking made you think. What she needed was a swim, to be an engine. By now the island was directly out from her. Grey boats passed it, their motors coming from which direction in the wind. An old man on a sailboat skimmed past with a ludicrous smile on his face. With a grunt she ran to the water and speared into the channel and swam. She had good style. Her breathing was metrical. She was tuned for it. She swam and third, the thirds of engine. Out in the center of the channel the water was dark and it went forever down. The island seemed to no closure. She moved all her parts, everything did its task. She was not tired. When the water suddenly became warmer, she knew she was there, standing in shallows, just out from a little sandy beach. She saw a cloud of birds and heard the blur song in their ears. All a person needs is a bit of land, she said loud. She laughed, and it wasn't all derision. She stretched her arms. She noticed that she had left her watch on. It had stopped. She guessed the swim had taken her 15 minutes. The steadily was drying her already living streak of salt on her flesh. The island was a bird sanctuary. There were signs and warnings. It wasn't a big island. Maybe 10 hectares, she guessed, or less. She climbed up from the beach and wandered across the island's humpbacked plateau. Seabirds filled the sky. They nested in holes in the ground and limestone nooks. They chased each other in territorial battles and shrieked from places unseen. On the packed sand, scrub and limestone monoliths offer little shelter. The tracks of bird peppered every soft surface. The whole place smelled body. On the seaward side surfaced across the reef and small sunken lagoons and potholes stood still and full. From the low cliffs he could see fish down in the water with birds diving on them. Underfoot wherever she went, broken eggshells mashed and blue. As she walked, a murmur grew and the birds fled before her. She ran blindly from its hole and skidded off her scene. Thousands of blackbirds. In their midst, in the center of the island, the girls sat down to watch their shore and its teased about her. She wondered why they thrived so. She thought of biology class and tried to think. There seemed to be plenty of fish for them to eat. No predators she could see, no signs of snakes, just birds and she didn't even know what kind. Hatching, growing, hunting, mating, dying. There was something relentlessly single-minded about the whole business. After a time she stood up and more birds rose with her, taking their eternal music with them. By her foot she saw the carcass of a small bird. All over the island she found dead birds, whole, mutilated, broken, and cells and feeders and seed. A constant layer of debris. She felt within the grasp of something important, something she might understand. From biology, what did that skinny teacher with the tobacco breath call it? That was it, the web of life. She saw it all before her. The sick and the weak died, and the young and the strong lived and thrived. It's the way things are, she thought. You need to just go. That was it, survive, win. All you need is a bit of land, something solid under you. Ah, what rubbish, especially from her mother. Something solid, and there was all day in the dark, drinking. A life of fluids. A whole ocean she must have drunk by now, and she talked about land. Bird sanctuary for a lame dog. She was tired of fighting it all, always swimming over the top of that sea of gorg. Maybe that's why I started swimming, she thought, to stop her drowning me. She went back down to the sandy beach and she took off her watch and bikini and lay in the sun. Her body was strong and hot. She was young. There was no more room, she decided, for feeling sorry for dead things and dying things and sick things, for her mother or even herself. Now there was only time to live, to survive. Live, survive. They are the same thing, she told herself quickly, no difference. She got up and saw that she had left a perfect shape in the sand, and then she cried out in triumph and ran naked down to the water and pierced it and began to swim. Be an engine, don't complain, don't ask, don't hesitate, swim, don't think. Pushing out, she knew that as soon as she was old enough, she would leave her mother. There was no room. She had to look after her, leave her mother to the wave. There wasn't time enough anymore for all that swimming through craziness and ugliness and dumbness Sari Bew Scott Jean. Be an engine, but she flattered, daunting, breathe. She moved her past swimming machine. Think. No, you all bitch. I can't swim. She caught through the water and filled up cold with anger and went harder. I can't be a machine, like a fish, you all bitch. I can swim anyway. Harder, go, do, cut, harder. That body thrashed and whitened the water, throttling out, vibrating, paws, searing away, roaring white hot, and all the way down she felt young and strong and perfect in the cold darkness.